Scott's flying right through these 50 pieces in regards to popping out the primer. Having the torch head not mounted gives you that speed. You can just move it to where you want it. Move it, set it, and forget it. The joys of Lake City brass, at least initially resizing it from purchased once fired. Spinning flat there, 4535. Check out that primer pocket. Make sure you remove that crimp primer pocket well. But we're going to shoot for 0.02 accuracy, and I can't get the cell phone too close to it because it kind of screws around with these sensitive scales. But bam, just like that, right on the money. You can see how quick that is. And I'll get you a little bit closer up to the trickler. You can kind of see the massive drop in the middle, and then you can see it trickling off there on the trickler. Boom, right there within 0.02 accuracy. So that's literally within 1 or maybe 2 specks of actual varget powder. To the point, informative, entertaining, and protecting the Second Amendment. Welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading. And I think it's been about a month since I've done an edited video for you guys. Right out of the gate, I want to apologize for that. You know, I've been so busy with EP integrations. My business partner, Scott, P, his last name starts with P, last name starts with E, that's where the EP integrations comes from. Scott and I have been so busy with EP integrations about pumping out those 2.0 brass annealers for you guys. Above and beyond my full-time job, I just hadn't had any time for anything else above and beyond some type of social life. But, you know, finally getting back to continuing this live reloading event of teaching Scott how to reload. And if you haven't seen that series, check out the description box below. I have a link to that series. Start to finish, teaching Scott how to reload for his DPMS recon here in 5.56. And we plan on shooting that load development, mild load development, tomorrow. But before we do that, I told Scott, why don't you bring over your DPMS recon? I want to check it out with a bore scope. I'm just curious if you're cleaning it, if your bore is heavily fouled out. I might want to scrub that down so I don't waste our time with this mild load development. Using a 53 grain VMAX bullet, being this is a 1-in-9 twist, most likely it's going to favor a lighter bullet, and a 60 grain VMAX with really mild powder drop rates, uses some varget powder. And I figured, you know, I'll bore scope this for you guys just to see what it looks like. Well, clean it up, and I noticed his bolt is excessively dirty. I need to get that firing pin cleaned up and that bolt in general. And then I'll bore scope that after we clean it up, and just to see the difference. And then most likely when we go out to the range, we're going to take a few shots to follow that out. Just to make sure we don't waste our time with that load development. But, you know, this is Scott's DPMS recon. It's got a 16-inch stainless barrel, 1-in-9 twist. Typically with my ARs, usually I try to get something with a 1-in-8 or 1-in-7 twist. That kind of favors more mid-range, heavier bullets for longer distance shooting. But this is just his home defense AR, and that's totally fine. But like I said, with a 1-in-9 twist, it's most likely going to favor a lighter bullet. It's a slower twist rate. It's 1-in-9. That bullet's going to make 1 full revolution in 9 inches of barrel. If it's 1-in-8, it's going to make that bullet will make 1 full revolution in 8 inches of barrel. 1-in-7, obviously 1 full revolution in 7 inches of barrel. And usually 1-in-9 typically favors the lighter bullets, and that's why we loaded up so 53 grain and 60 grain VMAX. But just a quick go over this, looks like he's got an AAC blackout flash hider here. Like I said, a 16-inch 1-in-9 stainless barrel, which is stock from DPMS. Looks like he's got somewhat of an adjustable vertical foregrip here. He's got the Magpul backup iron sights, and he is rocking the Trijicon 1-4 by 24 low power variable scope with a Burris Pepper quick detach scope mount. This muscle came with the Magpul MOE grip and the buttstock. So yeah, fantastic home defense AR. And I'm curious to see how these reloads work in his firearm from that live reloading event. And you know, I got a bunch of firearm reviews coming up, plus some optic reviews. And just to give you a quick lowdown, I do have the Primary Arms GLX, the new 2X prism that has the auto on and off, which is huge. I mean, that is just a huge feature. The fact that this comes on and turns off when you pick up that firearm. You don't have to worry about it shutting it off. I believe, off my memory, this has a 20,000 hour battery life. Going off memory there, I'll splice that into the corner of the picture here just to verify that. But I was such a huge fan of the 1X prism from Primary Arms with the ACSS Cyclops, the 1X on my PSA 9mm ARV. That I contacted them and I said, hey, I'm so impressed with this, especially as I get older here. My stigmatism is getting worse. Why don't you send me your 2X flavor, the new GLX 2X Prism with that auto on feature. I'll slap that on my PSA 7.62x39 Gen 1 AR pistol. And what's really nice about this GLX 2X Prism, with that 2X, it kind of gives you, you know, obviously some magnification, but you should still be able to keep both eyes open and keep your field of view going as you're engaging those targets. As a matter of fact, this has the CQB 7.62x39 and 300 blackout BDC reticle on it. And I'm excited to get that video review going. And also, I have the Arkin Optics, the SH4, the Gen 2 6-24x50mm objective, FFP flavor, and I'm going to be pairing that up with the F3R machine, their new one-piece 34mm rings with a 20-minute of angle built-in mount. Enough of the BS talk. Let's check out this bore. I'm going to patch you guys in right now. I'm going to hit record, and this is recording now, so you guys should be patched in. So we're going through the flash hider here, and let's check out this crown. And the crown, matter of fact, this bore looks really clean. So it looks like Scott's doing a pretty darn good job of keeping this clean, or he's just not firing it. But this crown looks really good. I don't see any massive nicks in the last bit of the crown here, or the rifling. So that looks really good, and this bore looks surprisingly clean. So it looks like Scott is doing one heck of a job here. I'm actually going to gauge this gas port here. It's probably right about here. So let me reinsert this. So it's probably should be somewhere around here. All right, so there's his gas port, and that looks pretty darn good. It's got a little bit of wear on it, but that's nothing outrageous. And like I said, this bore looks pretty darn clean. Matter of fact, I don't think I'll have to clean this much at all, if any, really. Yeah, looks like he's been doing a pretty darn good job there. So heck, I don't even know if I even need to clean this. He's got a little bit of a carbon ring there, but nothing too excessive. Yeah, looks like he's got some carbon buildup there on the shoulder. So I think I need to take a wire brush to his chamber there and clean that up just a little bit. But yeah, so far, looks like Scott's been doing a pretty darn good job of keeping this bore clean. And yeah, this was gonna make my job a lot easier. Not bad, Scott, good job. And I'm gonna take a chamber brush to his chamber. Notice there's quite a bit of carbon scoring on his chamber, so let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. All right, so I did a mild cleaning on Scott's DPMS Recon bore here a little bit. Let me patch you guys in. I'll hit record. You know, I didn't really have to do much. It was actually pretty clean. I just wanted to take a chamber brush really to that chamber. There was a pretty good carbon ring in there, especially inside the chamber on the neck, so I figured I'd clean that up. But yeah, this looks really, really good. Nice and clean. That crown looks fantastic. Let's gauge out that gas block, so it should be right about there. So let's check that out. All right, so here is that gas block. So here's a before and after. So we got a little bit of erosion there, not too bad. But yes, this bore looks nice and clean, at least enough for some low development. And you know, I could probably clean this up a little bit better, but just a mild scrubbing on the bore here. And I'm just going to double check that chamber. So here's the lands of the rifling. And here is the end of the chamber. And here is that shoulder. So here is after, and here is before. That's some carbon buildup there on the shoulder and after, and the chamber looks nice and clean now, so that looks really, really good. So yeah, enough of the BS talk. Let's take this out to the range. Well, we are finally out at the range shooting this reloaded ammunition from Teaching Scott How to Reload live series. Now, feel a little nervous on this?
A little bit, but we'll get through it. We'll do just fine.
Yeah. And so just really marginal load development here. Nothing's really serious. Just something that gets Scott's feet a little wet in the reloading world here. When did you get your DPMS Recon?
It was about 6 years ago.
6 years ago. How many rounds do you think you have down the bore?
Probably about 1,000.
1,000. So yeah, we got this scrubbed up. We actually took some Fowler shots over here. 60 grain VMAX, 23.8 grains of bargain. Matter of fact, I'll splice in a picture of that right now, just to follow out that bore, get a little bit of carbon and copper fouling in there before we do this low development. You can see we got our target here. We're going to take 4 total 3-shot groups of each bullet flavor here, 53 grain VMAX and 60 grain VMAX. And we'll just see how this goes. Now, this isn't about bullseye. Each bullet is going to impact paper a little bit differently. This is going to be more about group size, so keep that in mind. So if you're new, it's not about bullseyes. You can always shift the reticle. This is about low development and the group size. So enough of the BS talk. Let's get this going. Okay, so we are going to start out with the 53 grain VMAX in the top left-hand corner. And just to let you guys know, I did actually bring my bump gauges here on my calipers. We actually did measure some of that reloaded brass with the bumped headspace. And we actually brought the range bag here to catch the brass. We picked that ejected piece of brass here when we were doing those Fowler shots, just double checking that 0. And that brass did expand exactly 0.03 of an inch, and that's why I brought this. Just go to show that this will fire form that exact 0.03 of an inch like we explained in the live reloading event. So we'll get going here, and Scott already has loaded up 53 grain VMAX at 25.1 grains. So give her hell, my friend. And we're gonna start on the top, and we're gonna take a break, let the barrel cool a little bit, and then we'll start with the 60 grain VMAX after that. So we're not off the paper. All right, so we're gonna load up the 25.3. Get 25.5. Final here, 25.7. Nice, got her on safe. All right, let's pause this, head down, and see how we did. So how do you think you did?
Okay.
So this is the first time taking like precision shots like for groups.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's get this paused here. And man, look at that one. Holy smokes. That's impressive. Holy cow. I mean, we are talking one ragged hole here, and I would say that is a 1/4-inch group all day long. For a 3-shot group, that's
pretty good.
really good. And then immediately opens up here and then shrinks back down. I would say this is a 1/4 inch. We'll know better once we can score this back at the reloading room. I would say that's about 1.5 inches. This one here is probably about 3/4, and this is about 3/4. But that is insane. Wow. Freaking good shooting, buddy.
Thank you.
So let's move on to the 60 grain VMAX. We'll let this cool down a little bit and we'll go from there. All right, so we are on to the 60 grain VMAX with 23.6 grains of Varget. What, we probably waited 10 minutes, roughly?
Probably about 10 minutes, yeah.
Yep. So give this barrel a chance to cool down a little bit. We're going pretty slow here, so I don't think any heat in the barrel is affecting these groups at all. We got a range back here to catch this brass. Do you think you need to adjust the diopter at all?
It looks really clear, so
No.
I don't know.
I think maybe your eyes are getting bad.
I got good eyes. I had that laser eye surgery done.
All right, on to the 23.8. All right, so 24.0. Last 3-shot group here with 24.2 and the 60 grain VMAX. She wrote, just lock back, unsafe. Let's head down. So that one feel a little bit better.
Felt a little more comfortable, but I don't know. Felt a little bit more comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Let's get this paused. And it looks like you got some impressive groups there once again, man. Holy smokes. So right out of the gate, I would say that's about a 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 group here with a 23.6. Opening up a little bit with a 23.8, which I would say is pretty consistent with our Fowler shots, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks about the same.
Yeah, pretty same. And then you can see it's shrinking back down. I'd say it's about a 5/8, maybe 3/4, and that's 3/4. So, we're not talking a huge difference here between the 53 and 60 grain VMAX in regards to the bullet grain weight. If it wasn't for this one, I would say the 60 grain VMAX is performing equally as well. Obviously this 23.8 is not driving well with this 1-9 twist 16-inch barrel. I would like to revisit this 25.1, do some confirmation groups here. But man, for a 4-power scope at 100 yards, I would say that is more than impressive. And that is definitely that reloading paying off. How do you feel about this?
Feels pretty good for someone who's never done this before.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting to kind of see the reloading come together, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do is we'll revisit some of these, maybe do another video in the future here. And man, that is looking really good. So I picked out 2 pieces of brass here, one at the high end of the 53 grain VMAX and one at the high end at 60 grain VMAX. We're just going to double check these primers. Now this is the 24.7 on the high end of the 60 grain VMAX. I don't see any cratering of the primer pocket. There's no real ejector swipes
The brass looks really, really good. Probably wouldn't hurt to put a little bit of Velcro on the brass deflector if he was to continue reloading to keep some of the dents out of the side of the body. I see this very minor dent here on the side, so that would help eliminate that. You can see I have it on the side of mine here to help eliminate those dents in the side of the case body. But yeah, the brass looks really good on both of these. A 24.7, is it? 24.2 and 25.7. No real cratering on the primer pocket, so that looks really, really good.
Scott, I think that is what's called reloading paying off. I mean, holy smokes. I mean, right out of the gate, I would say that's 1/4 of an inch, if not less. Even on the 60 grain VMAX, we're talking probably a 1/2 inch, 5/8. I'll know better once we can get back to the reloading room. We can score this up electronically. But, you know, sub MOA, possibly sub MOA, most likely sub MOA, sub MOA, pushing right at 1 inch. This is 5/8 sub MOA, sub MOA with a 4-power scope. You know, and a pretty inexpensive firearm to that matter. I mean, you said the 2016 you bought this. It was probably what back then? $800 probably?
It was, yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
You know, DPMS, reloads paying off. And I mean, how do you feel about this?
I feel pretty good. I'd like to explore some more with it and try to do some more, see if I can consistently hit some of those tighter groups.
Yeah, I mean, what are you thinking when you look at this?
Well, I'd definitely like to just because it's so good of a group, that try that 53 grain VMAX with the 25.1.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like your 60 grain VMAX, this group and this group is pretty much identical. And usually if that happens, I'll try to go to the high end of the spectrum for more velocity, obviously. Won't know for sure until we can score this up and see which one is exactly the winner here. But I don't think you can go wrong really anything on the 60 grain VMAX other than that 23.8. And it's kind of confirmed with those Fowler shots. It's not jiving so well with the barrel harmonics. But yeah, I think we should really test out this 25.1, maybe, you know, 24.2 on 60 grain VMAX, but that's some really good shooting, Scott, and really impressed there with your work. So I think this is a great way to end this part of the series, teaching Scott how to reload. And if you're new, hopefully this helps you out. You know, you can actually watch someone that's learning for the first time how to reload and do some real mild load development here at the 100-yard range. I think this was pretty successful, I think.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good learning experience. I'd recommend to anybody that wants to get into reloading to either watch some more YouTube videos or find a friend or a relative that is already reloading,
Yeah,
to get started. And
they got the reloading equipment, especially the components, right?
yeah,
Components are almost impossible to get right now. So, but yeah, we've been busy too, especially with the EP 2.0 annealers. We got oodles of them. They're already boxed up, ready for sale. Check out the description box below for the link to www.epintegrations.com if you want to get that EP 2.0 brass annealer on order. And we're swimming in parts, aren't we?
yeah, we got a lot of parts. We're pumping them out.
And you place that order, you'll get tracking and get it shipped within 3 business days. So I think this is a great way to wrap this up. We've got 20 rounds left here, and I think we're gonna do some slow-mo vids. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed this, hope you learned something. And if you did scratch my back, it'll continue to scratch your back with these videos. But not only subscribe, like, and share, hit notification all that is, and become a Patreon. It helps out more than you know. And I will see you guys in the next video.